What has been Uganda's leading opposition party for more than 2 decades is now facing an existential threat. The crisis stems from explosive allegations leveled against the party leaders for having gobbled up dirty money from the NRM juggernaut. FDC has since split into 2 factions, FDC Katonga, supported by the opposition doyen Dr. Kiza Besigye, and the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Elias Lukwago. On the other side, we have FDC Najanankumbi, headed by Engineer Patrick Amuriat as party president and the Honorable Nandala Mafabi as Secretary General. Tonight we ask, can FDC rise from the ashes and stage a comeback? Or it has already suffered a catastrophic implosion, never to return? My guests tonight are Robert Centenary, Chairperson Western representing FDC Najanankumbi, and Kenneth Opoka, Party Chairperson Agago District in Northern Uganda, representing FDC Katonga. On the spot, my name is Patrick Amara, and my guest this evening, I want to welcome you, Mr. Kenneth Opoka, District Chairperson, FDC Agago. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kamara.
And also my brother, Mr. Robert Centenary, Honorable Robert Centenary, former Member of Parliament representing Kasese Municipality, Vice Chairperson West, FDC Najanankumbi.
Good evening, our viewers, and Patrick, thanks for hosting us. It's a pleasure being here on NTV.
Let me begin with you. There was a delegates conference convened by FDC Katonga, and one of the resolution in 6 months, Honorable Centenary, your party that you represent, FDC Najanankumbi, is going to be dissolved. You are facing an existential threat as a party. That should be an area of concern for you, isn't it?
In 6 months, a delegates conference in Katonga. You see, some things happen in this country in a comical way, and then you wonder whether there is still sanity in the way some of our people think and approach things in this country. It would be so gullible to even think, dream, or even imagine that the FDC, where people sacrificed their blood, lives were lost, people are bruised, others are in various prisons, by the way, Luzira, others are maimed, and you think you're going to wake up in one day at a meeting which lacks definition and locus of law, and you're going to pronounce that in 6 months it will be non-existence. I can even bet my last coin for that to happen.
So are you
unfortunately, the pronouncement came with somebody from a mouth that has no attachment whatsoever with the party, because, you know, he's a new recruit, and therefore it will be very easy for him to make a pronouncement to that effect. Such a ridiculous pronouncement.
So what do you mean a new recruit? If a party member is a party member?
A party member is a party member.
How can you even say he's a new recruit?
But you see, there's what they call soul ties. Kamara, if you have given birth to your child, you've seen the mother suffering with the pregnancy, probably it was even a problematic pregnancy. The child is birthed, you've dressed them, treated them, educated them, raised them. By the time, if FDC was a human being, it is now a fully grown adult, 20 years old. It would be insane for you to think that now you should dissolve it and form a new political party.
So, you know,
even...
You know why? Because issues of integrity are key. some of the founders, came out with explosive allegations against your party leaders.
Party leaders,
yes, for having veered off from the original ideology of integrity. And it is you in Najana Nkumbi that have veered off from the party, not them, because you moved away from their values. That's what they say.
I want to remind you that even when General Muntu was a party leader, the same accusations came against him. Few years down the road, the very people who were accusing General Muntu for being immoral are the very people who are running now to him to form a coalition of opposition forces of change. I find that wanting in terms of, if you're talking about integrity. But secondly, if the problem is with Nandala, because he's a party leader, and Amriat, must you sacrifice a 20-year-old political party because of two people who are serving their last term of office? Actually, if I'm to be specific, they are 2 years into their last term of office, only 3 years left. And then you pronounce that a party should be dissolved. Isn't that selfishness?
Let me come to the Honorable Mr. Kenneth Opoka, I beg your pardon. You're a party chairman for the district of Agagua. You're actually even a former parliamentary candidate for Agagua North, if I remember very well. You're a senior leader in your own party, coming from northern Uganda. Robert Centenary and others are talking about the party that has been built for the last 20 years. You have suffered for this party. You have sacrificed for this party. You have sweated for this party. People have died, including, I remember, a gentleman called Manenero. Others have disappeared. Can't you, political leaders, really find a way of working together instead of splitting? Because you're going to spend a lot of time fighting each other, yet your rivalries, your adversaries are moving ahead. By the time you realize it will be too late, can't you find a way of working together as opposed to you thinking of dissolving Najana Nkumbi?
Yeah, thank you, Kamara. I think I'm a scientist by training. I don't know the background of my brother Centenary.
I'm a political scientist.
Yeah, but science deals with fact. Political science deals with propaganda. Before I answer that question, it is important that I want to send my sincere condolence to the people who lost their life in Kitesi, because I'm a public health specialist. The issue there, people would have not died. And it is very unfortunate that at 20 centuries, we still kill people in Uganda. It's very unfortunate. So I want to ask Ugandans, as we condone with the 35 people, the family, that the principle of waste management is basically you avoid them. That is the first. 2, reduce using it. 3, reuse what you did, like this one, can reuse it. And then the third one, the fourth one, you can do the recycling. It is very important, so that we reduce. So I would ask the people within the KCCA authority at least to instead of opposing and blame, those are things they should. I asked my brother Kello, because I met him when I was doing my bachelor in environmental health from Makerere. I think they need to work into that. Back to this, I don't know when Centenary joined FDC.
He didn't join, I formed that.
Okay, if he formed, then it is good that both of us are found a member of the party. I participate in collecting signatures for formation of FDC and the entire northern Uganda. And if you can go back to the archive of Electoral Commission and you ask for the form that came from Pade, my name is number 1. So I have the power and the mandate to talk about this party. The second thing I shared with Ruru, that both this party work as a rescue to the Ruru and the Achole, because we are also in the war. And I believe, my brother, to be very honest, I want Uganda to know what went wrong. Centenary, first of all, we have a constitution of the party. I sat in the National Council, and when you look at the constitution of the party, I personally have never contested independent. Centenary contested independent in 2021. I was with him when I was campaigning for General Moto. We were in that same camp with Winnie Biai, with Winnie Kiza. And for me, I opted and contest under the party. I never opted to go to ARN and the rest of it. And the constitution of the party said, if you contest independently, you cease to become a member of the party. I don't know when Centenary came back. Number two, I want to give a similar example. Ingrid contested independent in Rukungiri. Nandala wrote the dismission letters. I don't know whether he wrote to him. But the process of coming back, you apply back, and you are reobserved back to the party. If he did that, I don't have a problem. I may be speaking when somebody is a stranger in the party, he might have not followed the procedure of the party. Apart from that, the national councils that caused problem, I was personally there. I don't want to talk about the money. I want to talk about, because if you want to go into government, you must talk about the law. When Oboy and Nandala assumed the office, there were many things happen. In 2016, many people who never supported Nandala in 2012 when he was campaigning with Mutu, especially in eastern Uganda, they were filed candidate against them. Good enough for me, by then I was a councillor, because I was a councillor 5 for Paimon. Then later on I left and joined local government, then later on again I left. So when the issue of the money and whatever came, I really want to thank the administration of General Moto. There's no single day the management meeting would fail, every Monday. But during, I don't know whether they're doing now. So in that council, in their working committee meeting, the next, they proposed to us, we were invited for National Council. And the issue when we looked was about the party structures, election of the party's member structures, and then the issue of the money came when we are already focusing about it. It is me who stood up. I'm the one who proposed the issue of the Council of Elders to discuss the report, because I look at the lies, the lies which was coming, then I said, let's push the matter. Then two, we said, let's have the election. So I want to confirm, because I had moved in all over the country within 2 months, the last 3 months. Apart from Kasese, where he come from, there was a genuine election. I was in all over, including Amuria, where I went for consultation and Kabermaido. There was no election of the leaders. So the delegate that put these people into the office were unpicked. And yeah, you can laugh, but that is a fact. And that is where the problem, because that's where the problem started, because in that National Council, I asked the member, let's allow the district who did not conduct the election a period to go ahead, because the National Council has the mandate. And that is the proposal which I put before the National Council in Najana Kumbe. And I can tell you, almost 90%. I hope all countries watching at us. And when you are a leader, you must be very honest. The person who was put in charge to conduct election in northern Uganda is called Aji Akim Molo. He's from Arua City. I was surprised. He called people that his home and pick. Because their focus was, because the party constitution, for you to qualify to be a delegate member, you must be a chairman, you must be the secretary for mobilization, general secretary, secretary for women, and secretary for youth, and then the constituency chairperson and the general secretary. And that's what the guy did. He did it all over the country, especially along this side. So that is where the problem. So the delegate, even including my brother here, who come from West, there were no election in the entire Western Uganda. So this is where the problem. And when people talk about why, like when you said, why don't you reconcile? You reconcile with the people who are imposters, who impose themselves. They have no proper structure. And then finally,
a few days back, you had a delegates conference. How were these conferences constituted? How did they come?
No, I mean them. I mean, listen.
But also you had a delegates conference.
Yes. I mean.
So when were the elections?
Listen. I mean them who conduct the election that Food Centenary, the vice chair. Okay, that's what I mean. But the National Council, the delegate conference, for hours, which was interrupted by the state here at Busabala, it was duly called by the chairman of the party. And later on, they ran to court. After when they ran to court, their interest was that they put court injunction. And up to now, the case has never been discussed. Okay, my question, which I was asking, if they knew that the delegate conference called by the chairman maybe was not genuine, why did they run to court?
Okay, let's hear from you, Honorable Centenary. He has a point, because you have since become the vice chairperson Western Uganda. So you should have been voted into position, I suppose, by a delegates conference, which he thinks that structure was not constituted legally because there was no vote. But also, you moved away in 2021 and went independent. So you have a habit of moving away. He's even suspicious you could be moving away tomorrow. So can you clarify on that?
Actually, and I want you to get the difference very clearly, because he put a comparison between myself and Ingrid. In Rukunjiri municipality, there were party primaries that were conducted, where Kajinda, Ingrid, and Dr. Warren participated. Dr. Warren actually defeated the two and became the FDC official flag bearer. Kajinda respected the process and never contested.
Okay.
Ingrid actually participated in the general elections as the People's Government candidate. And that is why he received a dismissal letter. Myself, I said I'm not going to participate in the primaries because I have cited flaws. There was a candidate actually who immediately crossed over to NRM, who was being funded by the state. And I was not going to subject myself to that kind of competition with the state because I knew what was going to come out. So I outrightly said I am going to contest as an independent. I'm not going to conflict with the party by participating in a process that I do not believe in, and again come like what Ingrid did. But let me inform him that there was even a live coverage of the event where I had written to the Secretary General of the party, as the law requires, to be readmitted into the party at an event that was held at Equator Hotel in Kasese, where the party president, the Secretary General, Secretary for Mobilization, and other senior party leaders came and received me back into the party.
So you're officially back in the
handed me.
New member.
I said readmit, not admit. That's a difference. You said you're a scientist. Maybe English is a problem to you. So I was, because that is the requirement of the law of the FDC constitution. So I was readmitted. Let me also remind him that when I came to the delegates conference, which they had challenged, by the way, in court, remember the Justice Sekana ruling that cleared that delegates conference in Lugogo, that they never even appealed, by the way. They went to court. When the ruling came, it was not in their favor. The fact that they did not appeal the ruling meant that they had actually conceded. I was a chairman of Kasese municipality constituency. Then I was elected as a vice chairperson because I had applied for that, expressed interest in that position. And immediately after being elected the vice chairperson for Western Uganda, I relinquished the position of Kasese municipality chairperson. Right now, Kambere is the chairperson, because there was a residual election that took place to refill that position. That is our procedure of constituting delegates. I saw him grappling when you were asking him, okay, the delegates that were in Katonga, how were they constituted? They were actually handpicked. So, myself, yes, I'd lost my membership as well as Ingrid. But the difference is that for me, I wrote and I followed the law.
To be readmitted.
To be readmitted.
So now,
going forward,
yes.
I've heard you referring to him as the chairman of Agago. In our constitution of the FDC, we don't have life chairman. His regime was the regime of Mzee Saulo Mate, who has been of Kasese district, you know him, who has since been replaced by Chairman Kabuko Ronald. That is the regime. And it expired on the eve of the delegates conference that we had in Rugogo, where delegates also came from Agago, including Judith Franca, from his former woman member of parliament, who contested for the position of Treasurer General. Now, this delegates conference was broadcast live, but I don't want us to live in the past. I want us to discuss the merits of their ridiculous resolutions to first of all dissolve the FDC, which has more than 30 members of parliament. It has a number of chairman LC5 and chairman LC3, councillors. By all standards, it is a deeply rooted political party with a national presence. And then you say that it should be dissolved. As if that is not enough, you even propose that it should be liquidated so that, you see these guys who are looking for money, when they liquidate, sell off the assets, and share the proceeds.
Okay, I think you've gone too far.
Even General Muntu,
okay,
who went and formed the ANT, never proposed such a ridiculous proposal.
Let me come back to Mr. Poka. Mr. Poka, I know even some people within FDC Katonga, some of them are divided on the issue of dissolving FDC.
We even received back a number of youth from Katonga today.
I don't know whether you stand on the issue of dissolving. I'm asking this. Yes, there were resolutions, but some individuals are opposed on that issue. Do you really think it wasn't that?
I think
an error of judgment on the side of Katonga.
I don't want Centenary to live here with misconception, and I don't want him to continue speaking lies when I'm here. One, they should agree. I have raised the issue based as a chairman. In the delegate conference where it was called, we suspended Nandala, we suspended Amuriat.
Where did you sit?
This time, don't worry about the sitting. Don't worry. You see, that's where you fail to understand. And then we suspended Treasurer General. And those are leaders elected, including me. And the National Council extend the terms of leaders in the delegate conference, as they have been extending during the COVID. So there's nothing like, maybe English. There's nothing English, my brother. So I want you to accept reality. If you wrote and finally you were brought back, I don't have a problem. So that is you. But now the question, when you come back, is like when you resign and you come back, you still call yourself the old person or a new one. That is also English. Because you exited, now as you join as new member. And that is the propaganda that Lukwago and just join the party. So for him, even he had just come back after what? After being, when independent. Finally, back to your question. I think, you see the problem in politics. There are people who have never tested alcohol. There are those who can get drunk with power. And I believe they have become drunk with power. Because when you hear the statement, they talk about registration, new whatever, the only person who has a life membership in that party is Dr. Besige. Now what they are doing now, even Dr. Besige is no longer a member. Even me who put my signatures and I become a part, they just... So I think the reason why the resolution, I heard them talking, the law when time will come. In my professional background and in the training, there's in one of the course units, we call public and legislation. That one talks how you can formulate, make law. I'm much aware of it. So when we were forming the party, we knew what is happening, that finally one day it will come. So we provided in the constitution of FDC provision for dissolving the party. It is there.
Okay, gentlemen.
So we are not talking about the law. It is in the provision of the constitution, and it is our right.
Okay, gentlemen, hold on to your points, because we're going to take a break, and on the spot we'll be right back.
Cheers to something refreshingly different. Putting the brakes on a fast-paced world. Slowing down. Just enough to stand out. Cheers to the beer that does it differently. Brewed longer for extra refreshment. Refreshingly Club. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Get the always extra long maxi pad, giving your heavy flow 3 times better protection. Available in stores near you, now at 3,000 shillings.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, together with the International Growth Center, will host the 8th High-Level Economic Growth Forum from Thursday 29th to 30th August 2024 at Serena Hotel, Kampala, under the theme, Seizing Opportunities for Structural Transformation to Increase Productivity and Resilience. This forum will provide a platform for policymakers and other stakeholders to discuss the growth strategies that will propel Uganda to achieve inclusive and sustainable tenfold economic growth. The policy recommendations from this forum will feed into the financial year 2025-2026 national budget strategy. The forum will examine how Uganda can seize opportunities in industrialization, manufacturing, mining and exports, urbanization, tourism and financing options amidst rising global interest rates, reduced capital flows, global protectionism, geopolitical tensions and risks associated with climate change. This event will be broadcast live on NTV and the Ministry of Finance digital media platforms. Physical participation is by invite only. Hashtag 8EGFUG.
New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guests tonight are Honorable Robert Centenary, Vice Chairperson Western, representing FDC Najja Nkumbi, and Mr. Kenneth Opoka, Party Chairperson Agago District in Northern Uganda, representing FDC Katonga. You've heard from the submission of Mr. Kenneth Opoka. I still want to know, really, the two of you. All of you are calling yourself founder members of FDC. You've put in like 20 years of your time. And through those 20 years, you must have had a lot of challenges with the state. You have seen Dr. Bessie sometimes. There's a year when he was arrested almost 40 times in 1 year. But really, can't you find a way of salvaging, of bringing together FDC? Can't you work together again?
You know, it is the goals that bring people together. If you have a common goal, then you can come together. Yesterday, I was actually shocked. There was a shocking revelation. You see, they say a boil will inflame, but they will reach a point when it is pricked and, the pus comes out. And probably there will be some sigh of relief. This week has been very historical for the FDC. The real intent of our brothers here in Katonga came out very clearly, that for them, it was not about the survival or the continuity of the party. It was about themselves. You know, the assets of the party, then dissolving it to give way to another, I don't know whether they are calling, whether it's a special purpose vehicle. But this interesting revelation was when they went to, actually that is where the whole problem came from. The team went to Najana Nkumbi to ask the party president, the Secretary General and the Treasurer General and the leadership at Najana Nkumbi to give them 30% of the income of the party and remit it to Katonga. The 30% of the income, which comes, you know, the Political Organizations Act,
yes,
based on the numerical strength that representation in Parliament. The 30% of proceeds that come from a process that they don't even believe in, those are the elections. Because when you have members of Parliament, that's when you receive the money from Electoral Commission. Now they wanted 30% of that. And the question was, okay, how do we account for this? So that was the point of departure. They even went ahead and, by the way, started asking for the land titles of Najana Nkumbi. Now, today, on 19th, actually, when they started talking about liquidating the assets of the party, now, the economic intent outrightly came out. And you know, like General Muntu always told us that time is the best
I think
answer to everything.
That's another serious allegation. Now,
it's not serious, by the way. He can tell you. A delegation went. It was headed by Dr. Lukwago was also there. In Najana Nkumbi boardroom. It's not an allegation. It happened.
So, assuming that that's the case, Mr. Opoka, why would Katonga go to ask for 30%, and why 30% if actually you think you are the legit, and how is that, you know, handled in the modus operandi of FDC as a party?
You know, at times, you see, the Katonga office was approved by National Councils. It is us who gave the operationalizing of Katonga as the office in the National Council, which I was part of it. So by that time, before this, we know that Katonga was part of Najana Nkumbi. I don't know when the team went to ask for money. It can be a blackmail, because I've never heard from the meeting I always held.
You're a junior, you cannot know.
You cannot call me a junior. Because being a member of Parliament does not qualify.
There are issues in Katonga that happen that you don't know.
It is now you don't know, because you don't know how far I'm with Katonga. So for your case, it's fine.
The good thing this studio has lines. You can call Doctor and ask him. Or even Lukwago.
It's like, you see, I think what he's trying to say is to gain some fame, that maybe doctors and Lukwago went there because they want money. But more importantly, the office, Najana Nkumbi, was purchased by the party member, including me. So we, the founder member, bought that. By the time Centenary came to Parliament, I think the procurement of Katonga was almost coming to an end, because he came to Parliament in 2016. But immediately from 2005, for me, I voted for Professor Latigo, was a member of Parliament, and Judith Franca. Their money was used to buy that office, because I was the chairman. So that office is bought with our money. So when it comes to about the strength, whatever, because the issue which I think they are mad with, they are looking at the money, which for me as a politician, by next year we are remaining with 1 year to go for election. So the question of the money from the Electoral Commission will be answered by public. Because politics is about public perception. It's not about the theory of the office where. No, for me, if they went, then I'm very sorry. But if I was maybe asked, I don't even need to go there, because that money by next year, the remaining 1 year, it will be end. So we will know who has the strength in that parliament. So if they went and asked for money, but it is a mandate. Because one thing which you said, Kamara, is about the integrity. Because for us who form party, we form FDC for a purpose to liberate the country. Not to take beer and people start distributing beer in Raleigh. So it's like the mission. It's like the mission of Nadiana Kumbe is now parties.
But you see, Mr. Poka, there was the elders committee,
yes,
that was constituted to look into the issues of those allegations, and the elders committee, I think headed by Dr. Nawiso,
yeah,
exonerated these people from these allegations.
You were not there. I went for that national council. I came.
But it was broadcast live.
Listen, it's fine. It's fine. In the history of FDC, for all the 20 years I'd been in it, there was no single day where you come as a chairman and you are picked and put into the vehicle and taken to hotel and whatever. So what happened in that national council? People were taken to Entebbe. They came back. They were given 500,000. Even when you want to talk, they keep shouting. Including, I didn't expect a person like Atan. So it's like the whole meaning of the report, we lost it because there was no. Because even when you look at the constitution of FDC, there's a freedom of speech.
So you're doubting the integrity of the elders?
I even mentioned in Arua, I said I have questioned the integrity of the report of the elder, and yet I really regret it, because the reason why I question, when I moved the motion and proposed that report, that committee, we never gave the National Council mandate to appoint. Instead, we leave it leverage, and Nandala and Anoboy were the one who appoint the committees to look into their issues. Honestly, can that one be a fair report?
You know, Honorable Centenary, we have the chairman of the party as we know him, you know, Mr. Watsa Bidigwa, in Katonga. I mean, he can call a delegates conference, he can invite people, he can call a meeting. So even you, if you are moving on with some of those key positions where you don't have the people who should be with them, then you can say Katonga has clout.
Let me remind you.
Maybe let him answer this question.
The extraordinary delegates conference,
let him
which he has been talking about,
let him answer my
where
question.
they took a decision
one at a time.
No.
Poka,
Honorable, I want you to answer this question. Let me call you because you're honorable. I wanted to know under what circumstances Nandala could go to Nairobi to the vice who is sick, admitted in hospital, leave Wasa Birgwa, who is a legitimate chairman, to call for delegate conference.
Okay, you can add on that as well. You were responding, because I was actually asking the same question earlier.
You know, there was the extraordinary delegates conference which talked about in Busawala. It was quashed by the ruling of Lady Justice Esther Nambayo. And all the decisions that were made,
please let not mislead the party.
Of suspending leaders,
no, the application
were void.
The application filed, Kamara, was to stop the delegate, not to discuss the merit. It was not that.
Let me educate my brother.
It's not about education, about law, my brother. The application was
political party called FDC.
To stop the delegate
has what they call the office.
One at a time.
Because I don't want to be misled.
Poka, let the Centenary conclude his point, and then
it has the office of the chairman, and the office of the chairman. That's why we have a vice chairperson representing Western, Eastern, Central, you know, all the regions in Uganda, and we have what we call collective responsibility.
Let me get the constitution.
The resolutions that were made during the National Council is referring to. The declarations were even read by Salama herself as the vice chairperson, because she was the one who concluded the proceedings of that particular National Council. Birigwa at that time was the chairperson of the FDC, chaired all those series of meetings. The only problem is that our colleagues allowed themselves to be hoodwinked. They decided to follow and be part of a battle that they themselves did not even understand. If you ask Mr. Opoka why he's still grappling up to now, he may not even give you a valid reason. If you ask him, okay, you're talking about money, how much was it?
If you want me to tell you where the money came from.
You will say Museveni, obviously.
No.
Because,
listen.
And you know, the game plan was,
you see Centenary.
Ugandans
But you posed the question.
don't like
let me
to listen to the name Museveni.
Mr. Poka.
So if I came with a story
Robert, you've done,
around
you've made your
Museveni.
point. You've made your point.
Now,
Mr. Poka.
you see, now let me now educate my brother. The genesis of the problem was Geoffrey Kanya. The Eastern Member of Parliament, those who lost, who lost in Parliament, they contacted the President Museveni. And Museveni said, okay, since there are issues coming with the NOP and everything, let me deal with the party. I can tell you the person who went, and this is the very Kanya who went to doctor and reported that we got money.
How did you know when you are not part of the team?
I'm a very intelligent person, if you don't know.
You're intelligent,
yes,
but you can tell us the person who went to Museveni. How did you know when you did not go?
Because,
or you were part of the team?
No, listen, because I love my party, I have been following what is going on in the party. Because I can ask a simple question. I contested for member of parliament. It's not Roman mongering. I contested for member of parliament. I got 2 million from the headquarters for supporting
2 million shillings.
Yes. Now, a woman who contested in Pakwach was given 30 million. Somebody who contested in Nebi, he was given 20 million. Now you ask, where did they get the money and which criteria did they use to support candidate? Now, people like Atan, Kanya, you see, these people who are masquerade, let me use this now word, they bargain their way forward, how to go to parliament, and how to make sure, because the purpose of the money, because if it was only about the money issue and there was respect, there would be no problem. But after they were throwing word here, there, I don't know why they should get panic, because if we said we are going to dissolve the party, if they know we are jokers, why they talk about it? For me, if I know, because now, my focus now, I want to focus on my energy of removing Museveni from power. Now, I need to still talk about Najana Kumbi. I think that is not something
But you seem to be focused on removing now Amuriat and
exactly. How can you remove Museveni when you are disbanding even your support base?
Yes, because
logical?
Some of us, Kamara, I've never got money from Museveni, I've never got money from whatever. So if these people who got money want to use the name, the legacy, destroy the legacy, some of us, I lost relative because of this party. I want to leave it knowing that even if the state would support them and say, okay, let FDC remain, we would have made ourselves very clear and pronounced and say, okay, we have dissolved the party, those who want to continue with it, and I was happy because the delegate who came over 1,000, everybody say,
delegates, how were they constituted?
No, we elected because we know we were the genuine FDC. So we elected even because Mate and the team came from Kasese.
What did he tell you at the delegates conference? The so-called delegates conference.
No, you see, that
I don't even want to call it a delegates conference.
I think you have a problem. If the chairman of NRM right now, General Museveni, if this is a movie, let me call it Katonga Naja, he must be enjoying it.
No,
they are working. The Katonga Naja movie, he must be enjoying it. You guys tearing each other apart is the best thing. Is a Christmas gift, early Christmas gift you're giving to NRM.
Let me tell you, Kamara. You see, for me, from the word go, I said I'm never going to be part of this joking process. That is why even when the idea of people's government came up, I was one of the people who said, well, I can't be part of this because it is just a useless threat. You see, it is not good to promise Ugandans for 20 years and you don't even fulfill anything. Actually, one of the fundamental questions that Engineer Patrick asked the team which came to ask for the 30%, he said, how far have you gone with the struggle? Can we evaluate the successes so that we are able to inject in more money? They had no answer for it. Now, regardless of how ill your child might be, do you tell the doctors to inject him and so that the child dies because he's ill? Or you will try your level best to resuscitate, give him treatment with the hope that actually it is going to live another day.
Hold on, gentlemen.
I mean, that's why I have a problem with my friends.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'll open the line so that you two at home can also have your say. We'll be right back.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, together with the International Growth Center, will host the 8th High-Level Economic Growth Forum from Thursday 29th to 30th August 2024 at Serena Hotel, Kampala, under the theme, Seizing Opportunities for Structural Transformation to Increase Productivity and Resilience. This forum will provide a platform for policymakers and other stakeholders to discuss the growth strategies that will propel Uganda to achieve inclusive and sustainable tenfold economic growth. The policy recommendations from this forum will feed into the financial year 2025-2026 national budget strategy. The forum will examine how Uganda can seize opportunities in industrialization, manufacturing, mining and exports, urbanization, tourism and financing options amidst rising global interest rates, reduced capital flows, global protectionism, geopolitical tensions and risks associated with climate change. This event will be broadcast live on NTV and the Ministry of Finance digital media platforms. Physical participation is by invite only. #8EGFUG.
Omwana mulenzi acidic vocals, Ugandan's Afrobeat singer, the lyrical boy nanyini mavoka gatamuza wachala kandagenage, aguse ku cricket ovo, mu concert emba, jatumye ndi musoga. Ku Friday ngina kusomweza 3 Agosto, emitwale 2, DPM mitwale 5, emeze milioni 2. Ono mwana mulenzi acidic vocal, ajasi ndogomye miziki, nimbwa, yesiga memamba, uri kayimba konako manyi. Cricket ovo tujijuze, yimwaba numiri olulimi olusoga muliwa. Wafumbirwa musoga, oinaye mukwaro gwo musoga. Musoga wa musoga musaleko nobuwaro buveidinda nga buchakala buwaza nife abasasula rente atetu amala twasula mu ndongo obe numba tusasula yaki. Friday nga 3 August Cricket Oval acidic vocals ndi musoga bitegekedwa Abitex Promotions Daji Manager ye Baja Events biwagidwa.
Hello everyone, how are you? This is your boy Alex Muhanji from Comedy Store Uganda. You know, it's the freshest nigga around town, Mr. King Kong. Oliku Comedy Store, ne Alex Muhanji.
You drink sugar. We want to wait it all.
Keep it right here on NTV every Friday, 8 p.m. That's what's up.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guests tonight are Honorable Robert Centenary and Mr. Kenneth Opoka. Well, they belong to different factions now of FDC. You know, sometimes I find it hard even to say that you guys even have factions. But there's something you haven't really clarified, because what came out as a resolution was the intent to dissolve FDC. Are you serious about this?
Yeah.
How do you go about it even?
Okay, first of all, as I said, the constitution of the party, there is a provision for dissolving a party when we are creating this. And we have already issued notice on last Monday, that was issuing a notice. And it's good that I'm going to aid that process.
You?
Don't worry about it, my brother. I was in Kasese. You have never been to Agago. So that is now your answer. No, you have never. So you can know the kind of person you're talking about. So I know that there's a process. We are going to embark and ensure that we acquire required legal process, and we have issued notice within the 6 months, we'll dissolve that party because it is ours. Because when we are put, because as I said, we form party to liberate the country. We have not formed party for what I saw in Soroti, where people were drinking ajono, what I saw in Kasese, where they were serving beer. That was not the purpose of FDC. Good enough, I don't drink. And for the first time, by the way, FDC has never been carrying people. In the last time when they went to Gulu, almost they sent 4 trucks, about 400 people. So I think the objective is like a curtain raiser. Try to say we have
but
the
technically,
people. But
assuming what you heard was a delegate, assuming what you heard on Monday was a real delegates conference.
Yeah, it is a real delegate.
Did you have the least quorum required?
No.
For you to make a move of even making such a decision?
Yes. Because,
what are the numbers?
Because the people were almost 1,300.
People, you can collect them from Owino Market.
Don't worry, my brother.
Yeah,
because
it's possible, even 5,000.
Because there's no worry. What these people are grappling with, because they know, and I wanted to warn them, they think they are working with Museveni. Olaratunu, there was a case of Olaratunu and UPC Akena, where Otunu, Olara, somebody took one to court, and the court delayed. By that time, Museveni was still working with Akena. But as I talk now in Lango, the UPC now is the real UPC of Obore, not the one of Akena.
But Akena has been winning by elections.
Yes.
He's been behind all those who are winning.
Yes. Now what I'm saying, because I want to give the ruling, the UPC now in Lango is not the one Akena was thinking maybe there's a cooperation. It's the real UPC. By the time Museveni, no, this is the real FDC. That pronouncement of the court will say Washa Birigwa is a legitimate chairman, and the decision which was taken on 19, the one which was, we were assessed from the other side, and we came here, and finally we make a pronouncement whereby we suspended Oboy, Nandala, and Ekanya. That one will finish them complete. And I know it's going to come back for me, because that matter is still in the court, and they have never heard about it. That matter is in court. What he's talking about is it was about the injunction to stop us, and for them, the court allow on ground that people have already traveled. So, but they did not say that the person who called the delegate conference was a legitimate chairman. And I want him to know that. So that time is going to come. And I want to warn the people whom we had been campaigning and supporting them that you just be in that confusion. After 6 months, we will dissolve that party. So after nomination, the matter is going to come out.
Honorable Robert Sentinel, is it not a job to both of you to think of change of government, the change of leadership, when your own party is suffering such an implosion? Is it not just a joke?
Well, it's very unfortunate that while we are trying to pursue the goal of credible alternative leadership and regime change, we have the likes of him who still think that they can even destroy and damage the integrity
but by the time you
of an institution
by the time you went and contested independent,
that is pursuing the goal of changing the regime. You know, he's a political assistant of the current woman MP of...
That is total lie.
Of Agago.
That is total lie.
Who defeated the candidate of FDC.
That has been the propaganda of...
That's NRM. And he's here speaking as an authority
you see,
in the FDC.
My brother, don't
but let's leave that is diversionary.
No, because I don't want...
The biggest joke we can ever have...
I don't want you to tarnish my
is
image.
to think that we can dissolve
by telling lies on
a political party which has already captured territory. When you come to Kasese, we have 3 members of parliament on the FDC ticket. We have councillors, we have chairmen, leaders of the FDC, elected leaders. The mayor of Kasese municipality is FDC. When you go to northern Uganda, we have leaders. When you go to Teso, we have leaders. When you go to Bugisu, we have leaders. Those are traditional bases of the FDC. You see, when you're fighting a war, you capture territory. Now, they already captured territory. And it is the same thing they wanted to. By the way, let me remind you, in 2016, after we had won elections, Dr. Besigye proposed that we should not swear in. as elected leaders. And when he met us, we asked him, what are we going to tell those people who suffered on the lines, casting their votes for us? Do you know what that meant? It meant that if we did not swear in, then the people we had contested with were automatically going to be declared. And that was giving a pass, a clear pass to the NRM, meaning that even the 32 members of parliament that we had at that time, because we were the 37 actually members of parliament we had at that time were the leading opposition political party, and we had the biggest number of members of parliament. If we had agreed to be hoodwinked, not to swear in, even when Kiza would not have become leader of opposition, would not have representation in parliament. What would that mean? Even today, if we decided to follow their madness of dissolving FDC now, it means even those territories who have so far captured, we are automatically losing them to the NRM, because they are trying to kill a brand that is already built to pave way for a new brand whose identity they are not even sure of.
All right, now,
what if government refuses to register you, you are a new party, what will you do? And you have already dissolved an already existing entity. I think that is very ridiculous.
I'm also hearing in the corridors of political parties that there is an idea of merging FDC with NOP. Is that
which FDC?
FDC Katonga.
One thing which I want to be on record is what my brother said, talking about political assistant. And I know the Minister for State for Economics sit near here. Tomorrow you walk there and know who is the political assistant. I don't want, I've reached 50s. So when I'm on a national television, I don't want to use blackmail for covering. And that is the problem with Najana Kombe. You were a chairperson, you were a member of a trade committee. Do you know why you were removed?
I was never removed.
No. Do you know you fought in an hotel?
I served for the entire 5 years. I was never removed. You see?
But you see,
that is rumor mongering again.
Okay, now you can see how it is.
Because the records are there. The records are there. I served for 5 years as a member of the tourism
let me tell you, I told
trade.
He was giving you some shock therapy.
No, because the way he's filming, because I know about that.
No, I served for 5 years.
Now you can see how if somebody put mud on you is very painful.
That is not mad.
But you know what happened in an hotel?
That is not. Which one?
You know what happened?
Which hotel?
Okay, let Kamara.
Voting against what now?
Anyway.
What is the committee of parliament?
Because listen, my brother, when we come for a talk show, I mind about integrity of a person, because I don't want you to live here like. So for me, what we had put in, I wish they talk like you are talking. I met some of this concern you are raising. The very people who sit in Najana Kumbe, they don't have the feeling Uganda have. A very prominent person asked me the same question, Kenneth, why don't you people reconcile and work together? These are people who love party.
What are you going to tell your party base? Because there are some people who will be asking something like that, like see, that prominent Ugandan talk about.
It is
people in Agago will ask you the same question.
I've been married for over 30 years. And marriage can fail. Even yours can fail. So when the marriage fails, because I'm the one in the marriage. So you cannot say maybe there's a problem. So if the purpose of forming FDC is no longer is what we see, we dissolve them. I don't have a problem, because our interest is, for me, first of all, is about the integrity of Kenneth, who is speaking on NTV, that I am not part of the dirty money they are talking about. That is period. Two, I also believe that if they were having the heart for the party, they would have not, because like now, Besige is now no longer, you see, and you know, when you're a builder, and the house collapsed, and you see the house was very nice, then you say, who constructed that house? For us, people think when you start a new party it's very difficult. People follow. There was one day I asked Centenary in NBS. I said, we are going for election, my brother. And you have whether Nandala and a boy going to campaign for you in Kasese, and this is the past there. Who will people listen to? Because the struggle Dr. Bisije put in this country to make us reach where we have reached, none of them in Najanakumi can do that. None. I wish they can respect for us that man. They could abuse us, say anything. But now when you talk about Bisije who lost his brother, Kifepe, I don't know whether Centenary lost anybody in the struggle. But Bisije lost a brother. And when you hear them talking,
is he the only person who lost a person in the struggle?
No, listen, because
many lives have been lost, and we must respect them.
Yes, we agree. But for you, because even, by the way, there's a saying in our local language that if you lose a relative, it is you who carry the most sensitive part. So at least basically has carried the most sensitive, but for you have not. At least for maybe a relative, whatever. But this is the real biological brother died in the struggle. You would have just said, please. Then now, even me, I lost people. If you were thinking about that,
then you wouldn't think about dissolving a party where lives have been lost.
No.
That is our pain.
Then, if you were thinking about that, by the time we agree that let that not go ahead with the election, let us make sure that the election of the structures we extended for one, you would have not said no. You would have not go ahead and pick delegate. You pick delegate all over, have their names. Just let that not lie. And that's the problem.
Let me ask, why didn't you participate in the elections?
You know, Kamara, I'm a very honest person. The election that happened in Agago, it is me who mobilized. I went on radio myself. I think in the entire Solisa prison, the only district that conducted election was Agago. I went on radio. But if I ask simple question, can 250,000 conduct election in 26 administrative units in a district? That is a simple question all over the country.
Okay.
So
when we started FDC, how much did we use? The very first structures we had, by the way, they were even who were volunteers.
At least
no coin.
No, listen, because
at least you are lucky the 250.
Now you have gotten money and the money is
we have graduated to 250 from zero. You should
but not money to conduct the election.
Milestone.
Because the money, you see, you know, there's where we call equity and equality. Whereby I don't think 250 can conduct the election in a like my district in Agago, we have 26 administrative. If you divide that by 250, that will mean 25,000. Get 25 because that is 250.
So
can that one conduct election?
I just have one more question for each one of you. Now, Mr. Poka, do you really think if you dissolve FDC now, you'll still have the clout? Considering there are no new emerging parties, they have taken the space in Uganda is almost gone, and Busoga. Do you really think you are going to get that clout that FDC had, where you can get NRM, give them a run for their money? Do you really think you're going to have that?
For me, Kamara, I don't believe in election. I participated in the last election. If you ask me, I would go with the idea.
But you're a candidate for Agago North at one point.
No, yes, I said, because when I contested for Councillor 5 and I won with more than 6,000, but now when I contest in the last election, that's when I know, as BCJ had been saying, that election cannot remove Museveni. So if you ask me, I would empower the Power 10 and make sure there are people on the ground, not to go for election. Because they will go for election, the result will be Museveni is a candidate, he's the president, and they will distribute candidate. Maybe because this one, by the way, welcome back from Bukede, because I saw him with
a bunch of rumor mongers.
No, the photo
yes,
here.
I was in Bukede. Yes, it is not a rumor, it is true. Let me even confirm it to you.
Maybe because what I believe, there are people who negotiate their win. If he has negotiated his win, he will come back as a member of parliament.
Is not in Bukedia, my brother.
No, I'm just saying it is good now. Welcome back from Bukedia.
Just be an elder and stop rumor mongering. Okay.
So for me, if you ask me what would be the best, of course we also believe in unity if we are united and form a formidable force, but not with people who are working with Museveni. No. Now because the purpose why we made that resolution now, at least within the 6 months, We know this is now they work with the state, this they don't work. Okay. And we will try to make sure, whatever possible, to bring whoever is for liberation. Those who want to continue with the party, we will give them a leverage to do it.
Okay, you made your point. Honorable Centenary, do you appreciate that you're getting weaker and weaker as FDC? You will not have that clout that you used to have. You can only get that clout again if you're working together. But the way how you're divided,
let me tell you,
you are going to fall.
When they were doing their consultations, we kept quiet and saw them moving around. After their consultations, we embarked on a countrywide mobilization tour and registration of members, which they have also watered down because they are in denial. They don't want to believe what they have seen. They thought they had actually destroyed FDC and it was finished on ground. But the recent visits we've had to the owners of the party in the different sub-regions have proven them wrong. So it is ridiculous. And you know, the Bible has this story of two women who fought for a baby after the other one had suffocated her child. And then the king in his own wisdom said, let us split the child into two. The real mother of the child was found when she said, don't split the child, you give the child to her. Because the mother wanted the child to survive. Now FDC is faced with a similar situation. We have the real mother who is saying, we want our child to survive. And the other one is saying, let us, actually, in his own words, he said,
but you are lacking the divine wisdom.
We must bury, and even said, Inna lillahi wa inna lillahi rajiun. Can you imagine? We must bury FDC. And you are proudly saying that. Really? And you expect to remove the regime? But anyway, they have been talking about people working with Museveni and his family. If you profile the leadership in Katonga, you will be shocked, and he knows it. In terms of who is relating with Museveni and his family members.
So all of you are accusing each other of being moles.
Salim Saleh wrote handwritten note about the president of Katonga. You know that we were here on this very television, Ebigambo Tevita, when I tasked Salam to explain where she got the money, the financing when she contested with the Right Honorable Kadaga. The billions of shillings she received, the vehicles donations, one of them was even a COVID pickup that was given to her by the regime to go and defeat Kadaga in an election. But for me, I wouldn't wish to go that way because that is the past. So if we are profiling people who are closely associated, the most recent one was Ode Taewa, who was actually appointed commissioner for cooperatives.
Okay. In the interest of time, and still with you.
His son was given deputy RDC.
In the interest of time, and still with you, Honorable Centenary, what's going to be your concluding remark?
My concluding remarks is that if they so wish to create their own political party, they can do it without killing FDC. If they feel that the waters of the FDC are turbulent for them, they are free, because there is a precedence. Kamia went and formed Federal Alliance. She never proposed that FDC should be killed. General Muntu formed the ANT, he never proposed that FDC should be killed. Why are they being exceptional? In fact, him who says he lost relatives in the struggle of forming the FDC should be the one guarding it jealously, not to be killed. And be patient enough, at least wait for the regime of the people they hate to end, and they come back and reorganize the party.
Mr. Poka,
instead of proposing its demise.
Mr. Poka, what's going to be your parting shot?
That will be logical enough.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think I don't want to go on propaganda. I worked with Centenary when we were campaigning for Mutu. The case of Mutu is different from our case, because Mutu decided and said, let me go and form a party.
In peace.
In peace.
He never spoke bad words, by the way.
But in our case, that you stage a coup in a current leadership of the party, like Austin carrying the chairman of the party and say, you are no longer our chairman, when he was given the mandate. And that's where, for us, we believe that, no, I think chairman is our chairman. We are still following him, including Dr. Besigye. So the issue of people working with Museveni, I want to remind him, when people were murdered in Kasese, he was a member of parliament. He went with the same helicopter to Kasese with Museveni. So I don't know.
President and member of parliament.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. When the people of Kasese were mourning, and of course they were grieved. I don't say maybe they were killed, but they were grieved. And they believe what happened, maybe the state has a hand. But instead, he decided to join the helicopter and move with Museveni, and they landed together. So I don't know at that level what they discussed in the helicopter.
What was the occasion?
No. So that is mean working. And finally, when Yusuf, they whipped in parliament, who is the lawyer now, the whip of Shibambe, he said, he made it very clear in the plenary and said, for me, I've come to work with the government. So now the whip of FDC that sat in Katonga, or sit in Katonga, they say they are ready to work with the government. So they are no longer in opposition. Finally, Nandala in a function that happened in Sironko, where Museveni was there, he said, Museveni, you are still working very well. The day you are going to hand over to me. So now, the whole struggle.
And what is wrong with Museveni handing over to Nandala?
Yes. So he said you are working very well. The day now you decide to retire. That means for them they will be sitting waiting for Museveni to retire. But for us, we want to push him out.
How will you push him out with your jokes?
Mr. Kenneth Opoka, FDC, Kenneth Opoka, FDC Chairman Agago. Thank you very much. Robert Centenary, Vice Chairman, Western Uganda. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I know you have exchanged so many words. Some of them might sound bitter, but what I know is that because you have different passion for FDC, you just disagree on how it should move forward.
Must survive.
Thank you so much. And for you, the viewer, I want to thank you for the privilege of your company. Good night, and God bless you, Uganda.
I don't have any regret about it, because
The Timeline is brought to you by
Totally sorted.
Whatever your building needs, of course, Ori sorted with 100% financing.